Hello, everybody. My name is Jim Barron, and this is Extra Dividends. This is the program where your returns are more than just dividends, sometimes a lot more. Thank you for joining me. Today's video, we are going to talk about some of highlights of the week. We are going to talk about this week's trades, and I'm also going to share a little inside secret about how we pick the winning trades. Actually, it's no secret at all because I'm going to tell you all about it. Omicron is the one that's at the top of my list because I think you have to be in a shell and know nobody to not know somebody that has it. It has spread a lot, and that has had a big influence on the way people think about things. I think one of the things that is frustrating to me is how the government is using this to strike fear into people, and as a result, it seems like it gives them the reason to put on travel restrictions, to put on school restrictions, and to otherwise have restrictions about the things that we can and we can't do. And I fail to see the logic in that because those places in the country and those places in the world that they've had significant restrictions, how is that done to stem the tide of COVID or the Omicron virus? It really hasn't. So I think it's going to become a matter of the common cold, become a matter of the flu, and it's something that we have to learn to live with. So on Wednesday this week, the Fed said they released their minutes of the previous week's meeting, and they said that the rates are going to be going up. So that strikes more fear in the hearts of people, especially traders. And how is that going to ultimately play out? It's a little bit too early to say. We're only a few days into the new year, so we'll keep our eye out for that, and we will be cautious. The Consumer Electronics Show was this week, and it brings back great memories for me. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be there this year. I have gone to many of them. My father used to be in the electronics business, and I worked for him in that. And I, too, was in the electronics business for a while. And it is an amazing show. And it's fun to look over the list of all of the new things. If you haven't, I encourage you to just do a search on new things from the Consumer Electronics Show. You might be amazed. I'm particularly intrigued by how the electric vehicles segment is growing so rapidly. My final thing for the week is Amazon. I find it interesting that Jeff Bezos has decided to reinvent himself. Now, this might take your mind off trading a little bit, but this was a picture of the reinvented Jeff Bezos and his girlfriend celebrating the new year. Well, enough of that. Let's take a look at the new orders that we've had for this past week. Again, there were 5 new signals, and we have been filled in 3 of them. Ford and CROX have not been filled, and they are not likely to be because the price of those stocks had gone up significantly. And as you know, we need to have the price come down a little bit, which happened in the 3 that we were filled in. So looking at the track record for closed trades in extra dividends, we closed 2 of them there at the bottom of the list here in yellow. One was 6 and UAL. Both of them closed profitably. And so another good week. We gained a little bit. We would like to get a few more positions on in our portfolio. Want to draw attention also to BHP because, as it says here, we were assigned in trades that we were assigned in and trades that we lost. We took assignment, been following those. They're not officially a part of extra dividends, but for those of you that wanted to follow along, we have been doing that. So this also is in your trading record. I put the grayed out area because I have closed the position on BHP this week closed it by buying back the short call that we had. And so we bought that back for only a couple of dollars and then sold the stock. So all in all, the original trade we lost $160 on. We gained another $287 here. So our net profit overall on the BHP trade is $127. And I think it's something for everybody that's a part of XTRA Dividends to really note, because this is a real key. And we'd like to ultimately bring all of these back to a winning place. And that certainly is a potential. For those of you who are new to XTRA Dividends or are wanting to learn a little bit more about it, I'm going to tell you now about choosing the right stocks and options and how I do that. And it is not a secret. These are just some of the things that I follow, and I'm going to take you through the charts and some of the setups to show you how this comes to fruition. But to start with, don't choose stocks that are trading at or near all-time highs. And if at all possible, avoid earning announcements. For those of you who have been trading this for a while, you know that that's not always possible, and sometimes it comes back to bite us. We've got one position right now that's in a losing position. I think it's Chewy, and it came out after an earnings announcement. But we're coming up to earnings season, and it's sometimes just difficult to avoid because so many of the stocks that have the criteria for us to get into do have earnings come up. But I try to let enough time pass after the earnings so that there's an opportunity for the stock to bounce back if it does take a hit in earnings. Sometimes, of course, it plays in our favor too. You also want to consider seasonality influence on the stock price. And of course, the stock has to have options available, and I usually like those options to expire in less than 120 days. Looking for a stock price that's 20% under the current price and choosing options that pay a premium of 2% or more of the strike price. Good premium is always one that provides at least an 8% annualized return on risk. And of course, these are not hard and fast rules. These are the things that we're looking for, and the closer to those numbers that we can get, the better off we are. So starting with finding a list of stocks, how many thousands of stocks are there? I forget what the number, but where do you start looking for them? And you can start with any list, and I look at a lot of different lists. I literally spend hours a week finding these trades, which is one reason why you probably are subscribers to XTRA Dividends, because you just assume let me spend the time finding the trades for you than you doing it yourself. Well, one good place to start is to take a look at the track record that we have had in closed trades for XTRA Dividends, because if a stock has provided a good premium for us on one occasion, chances are it will do it again. So this is always where I start taking a look at trades that we have closed for a profit. And so that's where I started in preparing for this video segment, and I chose 3 of them. So these are the 3 that we're going to take a look at more in depth, and one other one, which is WDC, and that's a new one that we haven't traded before. So taking a look here, this is, again, it's where I start. Taking a look at the chart, I said, let's not trade anyone that's at an all-time high. So even though ABBV has provided a good premium for us in the past, it is trading at an all-time high. So I won't even look at it because we're wanting the price of these stocks to go up. Well, this might be trending up, and on the other hand, there's a good chance that it's going to come back down because it is at an all-time high. So that's why we stay away from that. Another one that we stay away from are those that are trending down and at lows. And if you look at NVCR here, I think this was like $216 at one time. It's down to $66 right now, and that can continue down. And so I typically stay away from stocks like that, even though, again, that's provided us with a good profit in the past. WW, many of you know that it was one of our losers, but that doesn't mean that we wouldn't get back into it again. So if you look here on your screen at WW, it's a little bit different than NVCR in that it has come down, but it has had periods of consolidation. It's gone back up. And if you look where it's at right now, it's in a period of consolidation. So There's also another thing to consider is because we recognize that our risk in these, our absolute risk is if any stock goes to zero. And the difference between $15 and zero is substantially less than $66 is to zero. So from that standpoint, there's much less risk in WW. And then the new one that I told you about is WDC. It's at neither an all-time high nor neither a low. It has had a recent uptick in its chart, and now pulled back just the last 3 or 4 days on that. So those are the things that I look for in a chart. And then if I like the way the chart looks, which I do on WDC and WW right now, I would go a little bit further and I would look at the stock prices, because as I said on the original piece here that we opened with, we want the stock to be 20% more than what the strike price is. So here, in the case of WDC, the stock price is $65. So 20% lower than that comes to around $52.50, between $52.50, $55. Again, it's not real exact. I start taking a look at the prices here, and we see the 55 is we could sell a put in that for somewhere between 159 and 189. Let's say it's 175. And so that qualifies. It does also on 52.50 strike, in that we could sell that for somewhere between 92 cents and $1.60. So both of those qualify. And of course, the 52.50, you would have a little bit less risk on that, and but less premium. And so there's that risk versus reward issue right here. So those are the choices that I would make. You'll probably see this on your signals on Monday morning. So that's a brief look at what we do. The 8 commandments of extra dividends have all of those rules built into this. And so you all have access to that. And I encourage you to take a look at it. And even though you are a subscriber and you use the signals that you get on extra dividends, there may be times where you want to spend a little bit of time and find some additional positions that I haven't covered. By the way, if you ever see some and you say, hey, how come he didn't include this one? Send it to me and I'll tell you. Or you might bring one to my attention that we would want to include in the future. So the review of 2020 extra dividends, as you know, we started in July of 2020. We've had 18 consecutive profitable months. There's been over 200 trades and 97% winners. That's from the time that I started trading extra dividends. And I am glad that you joined me this week. I appreciate that. And if you are not currently a subscriber to Extra Dividends, this is your opportunity. I have on this slide the place that you can go to sign up. It's at getstartedtrading.com/extra dividends. You should be able to click that link from this slide. If you have any questions or comments, please write me at extradividends@gmail.com. And a reminder that new signals are out every Monday morning. So that's it. Remember, have fun and be careful. Bye-bye for now.